Once upon a time there was a little boy living in a town far, far away. His family were neither particularly rich nor all well educated. The boy, let's call him Jean Pierre, used to be a shepherd in charge of a small flock of sheep. He was not really prone to mischief. Sure, he once tore his father's wineskin, pretending it was little Antoine's gut he was stabbing. He also once cut his sister's braids, causing his portly mother to chase him halfway through town, her overstressed dress all in disarray. But he was generally known as the quiet boy who kept to himself. So the good people of town were somewhat surprised when one morning they saw young Jean Pierre running through the livestock gate, past a concerned-looking guard, and into town, all the while screaming like he was possessed. As he was making his way past the merchants by the publican's booth, all the while stumbling on piles of dung, mud, and wet hay, he ran nose first into the stately stomach of Abbe Porcer. The good man's ruddy face slowly twitched and contorted into an expression of mild surprise as his desperately overwrought synapses barely registered the blow. "I say, what is it, young man?" asked the walking finasteride advertisement, as beads of sweat slowly ran down his high forehead. "A wolf! A wolf! I think I saw a wolf." "Eh? What sort of a wolf would be so desperate to attack the emaciated sheep of this town, laddie?" asked the portly padre. "A big black one, sire, with bright shiny claws the size of scythes," replied the mouth embroidered with freckles. "I say, don't you be going around telling lies like that, boy. Got a shove of thistle up your gumption?" "Oh, stop it, you sinner," replied Jean Pierre as a prelude to the colourful stream of profanity that was soon to proceed from his toothless mouth. Alerted by this frankly skilful flow of vulgarity that proceeded forth from the young lad's gruel hole, an assorted array of merchants, guards, women, and rat-catchers soon began to gather around, creating an image with all the social diversity of a Totentanz. The discordant voices slowly reached a harmony of mockery as the boy kept ranting about the wolf coming. "What do you know about it, lad?" "You wouldn't know a wolf if it copulated with your mother, lad." "Come on, laddie, go back to your mother like a good boy." But their voices were soon muffled like giggles at a funeral, as, to their horror, a huge black wolf emerged through the gates, clawed its way past the sheep and the horses, flung itself upon Guillaume the barber, and cut his throat in one fell swoop. The next day the townspeople, who have just washed Guillaume's blood off their clothes, were surprised to see Jean Pierre running through the town, shouting all the while, "A wolf! A wolf! I think I saw a wolf." "Come on, lad, you don't expect us to believe you this time, now do you?" asked Albert, the town's crack dealer. But before Jean Pierre could come back with a well-thought, "Your dying screams will be my nightly lullaby," the black wolf pounced on Albert, giving him a clumsy laryngectomy. "This is the young boy I've been telling you about, sire," echoed Abbe Porcer's gruff voice through the halls of King Charles the Forgettable's modestly furnished castle. "He successfully predicted 47 killer wolf attacks." "All right, I'll give you each a purse of gold if you don't bother me ever again. I'm watching the Everton game," replied the king curtly. "If I may be so bold, sire," asked the boy, "instead of a purse of gold, I beg you to make me the kingdom's chief wolf catcher." "Impossible!" cried the king. "I promised that purse to Gaston's son after he danced for me so provocatively in women's clothing. I take it the job is all mine, sir." All right, just don't mention this conversation to anyone, you hear me?" "Certainly, sir. And I must ask you for a rather large megaphone, 10 cards, and a picture of Eve Arden." "I should quit my trap addiction," thought the king. It was a very average Wednesday morning. The birds were chirping, the sheep were baaing, and the rats were giving everyone the plague. The money chargers were clipping coins, the merchants were mixing rye in their wheat flour, and the nuns were drinking brandy and showing their ankles. It was in the midst of this worn-out old routine that a sudden cry was heard. "A wolf! A wolf! I think I saw a wolf!" Of course, the town was in panic. Merchants running everywhere, women running here and there, and children using the confusion to flip women's skirts to look at their knee pits. Men and women suddenly ran to their dwellings, stores, and bordellos to take shelter. The ensuing stampede killed 4 men, 2 women, and a grasshopper. Of course, not everyone thought this warranted risking getting crushed under feet, but Jean-Pierre used the emergency powers granted to him by the king, to be used and abused in the case of a wolf attack, to force every last one of them indoors. Merchants left their wares, money changers left their coins, and the rats their oriental rat fleas. An hour passed, then 2, then 3.5. 3 hours and 47 minutes after the last man had taken cover, one brave soul by the name of Simon the Unsaintly finally dared to take a step outside, soon followed by Marie the tavern wench, followed by André and the publican's sons, Pierre and Jacques, followed by a flea-ridden, mangy dog, followed by a cat by the name of Yamada Tama, followed by a flurry of people whose names are lost to history. Soon their eyes were greeted by a sight they would not soon forget. Jean-Pierre and his men had taken anything that was not bolted down, and even some that were. Wine barrels, wheat sacks, money clippings, spices, horses, those were notoriously bolted down, and all the fertile rats, which were regrettably not bolted down. Oh, and a pair of clocks. "Capitulations!" cried the townsfolk. "Wish we never listened to the devilish bastard!" "Actually," said the waifish old man from the crowd meekly, "on the 47 occasions that he actually told us the truth and we listened to him, we saved more than this incident has cost us." The townsfolk took the insolent old fool, put him in a gibbet, and subsequently executed him. It is estimated that this inadvisable, impulsive action cost them another 100 coins, equivalent to a worker's yearly wage. The end. The moral of the story? I don't know. Not all the stories have morals.